Hello, John. Hello, Biswajit. Thank you so much for joining with me today. First of all, Biswajit, can you tell me a bit about Coastr and what the company does and where you are in the company?
Absolutely. Thank you, Grace. Coastr is a shared mobility platform. Shared mobility effectively covers rental, car sharing, and car subscription. We believe all of these are, different facets of asset sharing, which is key to removing private ownership in the future. Hence, Coastr is in a bold vision to try and bring all of that together through very integrated technology and create an ecosystem that can really help scale up the services and make it much more accessible for people to share and use shared vehicles as opposed to private ownership. And it will have a massive, significant impact on decarbonizing the mobility sector in future.
And John, you're also joined with us today. Can you tell me a bit about your company Pivotal and about how you two may potentially be working together soon?
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Grace. John Murphy, I'm the MD of Pivotal. Pivotal really was born out as a startup to test what the future of mobility might look like for Jaguar Land Rover. Started as a small startup to figure out the way of growing quickly, and today we've grown over the last 3 years to be a large and scaling operation that provides what we call a high-tech, high-touch operation, mainly focused in the UK, but looking to expand internationally. And as I mentioned, a wholly owned subsidiary of Jaguar Land Rover. So with the focus that we provide subscription services for Jaguar Land Rover products. One of the directions that we're looking to go in is trying to understand how we can make our operation more efficient, more effective, and more seamless for our customers and consumers. Part of our goal as part of this high-tech, high-touch vision is that it becomes as smooth and seamless across the entire operation and value chain for everybody involved. And that's why we started having a conversation with Coastr to understand whether they can support in that journey and where the value might be added.
And Biswajit, specifically, how does your company use the latest technologies to improve its efficiency?
Great question. It's a forever learning curve, first of all. But I think when we first started on the Coastr journey, we realized that a lot of fleet operations and mobility operations are very fragmented today. Like there's a lot of manual operations going on. Often they tend to use a lot of different technologies. Some are legacy as well. So I think the first thing that we wanted to focus on was how we can make the mobility operations more digitized and more seamless, so that data exchange and there's more automation in the process, because a digital operations can only support a digital customer journey, right? So that's a fundamental number one principle. Second bit, which we also realize, is there are lots of different innovative technologies are sometimes used by mobility operators again, but they're not integrated fully into the operation. So one good example is connected cars technology, or connected mobility, as we call it. So that plays a very central role in how Coastr innovates by using IoTs. And but we also apply that quite uniformly across different parts of the processes and different fleet. For example, it doesn't matter whether a keyless entry is part of commercial vehicle or just everyday cars and things used by consumers. We look at how can we make a more modular approach so that it can be used for both commercial use cases as well as retail. So by always focusing on the innovation and making that applicable across and more seamlessly, we're able to drive more contactless journeys, which means car sharing, which used to be more digital in the past, is not very different from contactless car rental, for example, or contactless car subscription, right? So that's kind of how we are taking a look at innovation in utilizing the latest and brightest and connecting that into Coastr and providing that to our customers.
Great. And John, how does Pivotal approach impediments that prevent customers from experiencing a seamless journey? Can you tell me a bit about the ways that they do that?
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, as part of Jaguar Land Rover's reimagined strategy to become a more modern luxury brand, we understand that and disseminate that into the provision of modern luxury principles to provide a seamless and effortless service for our customers. What does that actually look like? I mentioned earlier, I touched on what we call a high-tech, high-touch operation. That actually translates into something that we use technology to enable the customer journey, but with real people at the end of it to provide those elevated levels of service and personalized touches. Where technology becomes important for us to provide fill those gaps and to solve those problems is particularly when we're trying to bring all that information to what we call a single source of truth. It's incredibly important when you want to provide this high level of service to customers who are largely time poor and very busy people through their lives, be it through their business, their personal life, or their travels, to ensure that the people empowered, or the system and the people empowered to deliver those services, have all of the information and knowledge at their fingertips to ensure that it's seamless and effortless, as I mentioned. So our journey and our aspirations is to ensure that the people doing that have got access to all of the data, all of the information, be that vehicle data, be that customer data, subscription data, etc., utilization, usage, billing, payment, so that whenever we need to provide that information to a customer, be it through any form of communication we might have, that it's there and they can use it and they're knowledgeable. We started that journey ourselves, and part of it is some of the learnings that most startups go through to figure out what they need to scale. And now we're constantly asking ourselves the questions about what the next phase of scale might look like, whether that goes beyond our own capabilities or whether we continue to partner with a business like Coastr, particularly as we look to scale internationally and want to have something that is not only utilized at a lower level at our local entity in the UK, but also as we scale into different markets where potentially the limitations of the system that we create ourselves reach the end of their journey. So that's an unanswered question today, and one which has really started us on our journey to ensure that we can deliver those services in the way that Biswajit mentioned, with this single source of truth.
Amazing. And you're both a part of a panel at our Move event. Can either of you or both of you tell me a bit about what you're hoping to bring to that discussion and talk about?
So I think, we're talking about how mobility services can support EV adoption. And I think I come from a very retail focused background. I started my automotive career actually in a retailer world, and have progressed through varying different worlds in the automotive world. So I understand that value stream. I think what I will bring to that discussion is a very customer focused understanding, a consumer focused understanding, but also, given that we only provide Jaguar Land Rover products. So when we're talking about EV adoption, today we only have got one EV. So the adoption is fairly minimal, but we also know the level of expectation that those customers have from a service. And there are two different streams that I see today that support EV adoption. One is very digitally focused, which is just about vehicle adoption. And the one we're focused on is EV adoption, but focused through exceptional service. We already know today that consumers are becoming incredibly less brand loyal and very much more service loyal. And so our focus is very much on ensuring that despite just having one particular focus of the EV today, that we exceed customers' expectations through excellent service. And I can bring that to the discussion, particularly from a consumer perspective.
From my perspective, Grace, I think obviously Coastr being a technology company, one of our fundamental goals here is to be able to create more awareness of the need for better technology. But I think I would really like to kind of focus on the need for ecosystem development, because without a proper technology-enabled ecosystem, it's very hard to move people away from private ownership or even utilize EVs, because there's so much of concerns around, range concerns about kind of the infrastructure for charging, etc. All of that can be solved by utilizing a much more integrated environment and data, of course, that flows through seamlessly. So I would like to bring that into the table to talk about how technology plays a key role in developing the ecosystem that can enable mass and EV adoption.
Great. Well, I really look forward to hearing your panel, and I also look forward to seeing you both at Move. Thanks so much for speaking with me today.
Thank you, Grace.